You can run, you can hide.
What's going on, everyone? Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Uche Njoku. Welcome to the Njoku channel on YouTube. Actually, the Njoku School channel on YouTube. And this is Teacher Tech Talk. So I know you're like, okay, what's going on right now? He has this music playing in the background. Hopefully it's not overwhelming. And you can hear me speak. So what I want to do this evening is this. First of all, I have to apologize. I haven't done a tech talk in about 2 weeks. You know, for those of you who've been following my my content, my channel, I've been going through a dip. So that space where, you know, a little overwhelmed and trying to make sense of the work that I'm doing in this space, creating content. So this is my first Teacher Tech Talk in about 2 weeks. So this evening, what I'm going to be doing this evening is kind of going into one short, hopefully very short episode with you. Questions that have come from different people that comes down to how is it that I'm able to do what I'm doing right now. And I know I've touched on this, but kind of from a very surface level. So what I want to do is kind of give you a tour of my setup here. And then not only that, I also want to, for those of you who are familiar with the Rodecaster Pro, which is my Preamp Mixer and my audio processor, and also the ATEM Mini, which is my video camera switcher. There was a problem that I came across as far as trying to get audio to sync properly. You know, as I'm speaking to you right now, I'm almost 100% sure that it's in sync. You know, at least syncing pretty well, where you're not seeing my lips move and then hearing the audio like a second later. I was having that problem. So I found the solution. It was something I had to kind of dig around, and there were different options given to me on YouTube, and it was a struggle. But I figured it out. So I want to share for those of you who are on that tech side who are like, oh my God, I had that same problem. How do I solve that? I'm going to talk about that as well. But first off, let me show you how everything's set up. I have some music playing in the background, and I would just, let me just jump into it. Let's go ahead and start this episode. Okay, so of course, teachers, we are content creators. So with that being said, it's very important for us to realize the power that we have as far as our ability to control this space, especially when we're with our students and even beyond teachers. Anyone if you're in business, if you're an artist, or you're just a YouTuber, content creator, podcaster, this space is very, very important. And those of you who are there already, you know how much work it takes to even create this space. So let's go ahead and start. So what I want to do first, I'm going to switch my camera to my GoPro, which is this camera right over here that's over my shoulder that shows you kind of like, hopefully, in a wide angle view of my workstation. And the music stopped. Let me see, what did I do? Did I do something? The music stopped. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. So, why is that even important? So as you can see right now, I have my iPhone here, and it's connected to the Rodecaster Pro. This is what this is. This is a preamp. Those of you in the music space who've ever tried to produce music, anything like that, you know, you need your preamp mixer. That's where you get your audio coming in, and you can control the audio. And this is what this is. This is the Rodecaster Pro, and as we says on here, Class A servo biased preamps. And my mics are connected to it. Anything that creates sound is connected to this right here. So I have things set up. I actually have 2 mics. I have a mic over here and this mic right here connected to my Rodecaster Pro. This mic right here, those of you who've been watching me know this is the Shure SM7B legendary microphone, and I iconicized because it was the mic that the Thriller album, Michael Jackson's Thriller album, was recorded on this model mic. And then over here, I'm going to talk about what's over here as well. So you have my Preamp Mixer. This is the heartbeat of everything. You can see the levels going on right now. That's number one right here. That's me speaking. The little one over here, the music playing in the background. And then everything master-wise. Why is this important? As a teacher, I like to start my class with a little bit of ambiance. So I always start off my class with some music as the kids are arriving. I also have daily morning town halls, which is open to the whole entire staff, students, and teachers, whoever's up to join us 15 minutes before the school day starts. And this is how I play the music off of my phone through a dongle that connects straight into the Rodecaster Pro to show how powerful this thing is. So, and also, if I wanted to, I could connect this Bluetooth as well to the Preamp Mixer. This Bluetooth right here, which I kind of don't use it because I'd rather do the wired in, and this is right there. This is the wired in right here, for my music, because on this side you will see I have an iPad over here, and iPad I usually have connected Bluetooth over here, and sometimes I have it routed straight to my laptop, but sometimes the tech gets kind of like wonky, so I connect Bluetooth to my iPad when I need to. But enough about that. I'm not going to talk about what's over here yet. So I'm going to talk about what's over here. So what you see here is my Rodecaster Pro. No, this the baby right here. Then let me see here. Right over here is an iPad. It's an older iPad. I think this is like a 2000. I want to say this is like a 2000. 2000. What was it? 2021. So it's like a 13, 14. It's an older iPad, and actually, probably not that old, but it's definitely older. And the music stopped. I'm not going to turn the music back on so you can hear me. So this is where, if you can tell, right now, this is streaming. I use this iPad as a monitor for my YouTube. So I know that it's streaming to YouTube right now. So I know everything I'm doing right now is being streamed to YouTube. I can see it right here, so that I'm not guessing. I'm actually streaming to YouTube. So that's what that is right there. And I always have this here. And if ever this shuts down and I know YouTube is not catching me, then I can reset and log back on. So that's why I have this over here. I don't usually use this for class. This is really just for when I'm streaming and creating content like this, like I'm doing right now. Then next over here, this is my Stream Deck. Stream Deck. This is an amazing device. What this does allows me to kind of control the show. This is my I have an executive producer, that's my wife. She's the one who usually will text me and tell me, hey, the audio's off or whatever the case is, or she will comment and I'll see it. But here, this is where I get to kind of like play with the little devices of of the show. So for example, when I did the intro for this episode, I literally I have a button here that says intro. I'm gonna play it again. I know it's annoying. And of course, I didn't do it this time, but I would also be like, hey guys, welcome to the channel. Please do me a huge favor. And if you're new here, blah, 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 I'll ask you to subscribe. And this button should be working. I don't know it's not working. Here we go. So I push that button, tell them to subscribe. So those of you who watch your favorite YouTubers and you're like, oh my God, look how great everything is flowing, it's because they usually have one of these things. And this is great because it minimizes me having to go back and edit it. I don't have to like record and go back and edit and add the intro or add the subscription, whatever the case is. Something else in here, this magic button here. Okay. See, I have a little GIF in here of my pre-locked hair, Thank you for subscribing. So this is a beautiful tool. You can make this do a lot of things. I'm able to actually even control my lights and let me see if I can show you my lights here. Hopefully I don't blind you. So I have the, these are the Elgato, Elgato, yes, it's definitely Elgato. These are Elgato key lights. So I have a key light and I think there's a key light and a key light air. these are the smaller lights here, and I have another one behind me back here. So I have a three-point light set up, my main light, my fellow light, and then my hair light in the background. And that I have controlled from here, and meaning that I can literally say, I need this to be a little bit darker, you know, or I need this to be a little bit brighter. And I also have preset percentages for my lights, 35%, 45%, 55%, I mean 50% and 55%. And so right now, because I want you to see everything I'm doing, I have it at 55%. And all my shows that I do has its own setup. So if I'm doing a podcast, it has its own button with all controls for that. If I'm teaching a class, I have a button for that. That I push that, I have all my stuff for that. And all this is done here. All of this is just literally a hotkey pad. I have everything programmed in here, and it tells the computer what to do for me. So I don't have to like move the mouse around and click on stuff to figure out what I'm doing there. Before, I would have to click on things on the screen and to do the same things, but now just push a button and it's all pre-programmed there. And this can be as complicated as you want, or it could be as simple as you want as well. So let me go back to, here we go. So I'm back in here again to my key setup for this show, which is the Teacher Tech Talk. And then over here, this is a monitor that shows me what you see. Even though I have this on the side here for YouTube, but I don't have to keep looking over here, because if I'm talking to you and I'm always doing this to see what's going on, yeah, it's kind of distracting, right? But if I can talk to you right here, I can see peripherally right there what's going on, you know, and making sure that and seeing what you're seeing. But you're not seeing this here unless I share this with you, which I've done before in the past, you know, and we're going to get to that. So this is a very basic monitor. It's connected to my laptop, and it shares literally exactly what you're seeing on your end. So so that, and it's I don't even know what the name of the model is. It's just a $50 monitor that I bought on Amazon. Again, I forgot to tell you. So this over here is an iPad, you know, old iPad Air. Yes, this right here is also an Elgato product. So this is the Elgato Stream Deck, which is the same thing as the lights, which are also Elgato, same product from the same company. And let me see here. Then, of course, I think I've shared in previous videos the most important tools in creating amazing video, amazing content. I share with you ALVS. A meaning audio. That's why this is so important to me, because I sound the way I sound because of this. Okay. So audio, I have my audio, my preamp, my audio interface that makes sure my audio is processed from here, and then pumps it into the computer, which pumps it out to you guys so you can hear me the way you do it, and this is how I sound because of it. And then you have L, which is lighting. Lighting is so important, because without light, you're in darkness. Okay, so I'm going to say that again. Without light, you are in darkness. Okay, and light is what gives you the ability to come in as crisp as possible. Okay, so lighting is very, very important. You know, even if you have a horrible camera, your lighting is a very powerful thing. Lighting is cheaper than a camera. So that's something that's very, very important to remember. So now, over here, let me go back to my GoPro. So is my main camera. This is the camera right here that when I speak to you guys in, is this right here. And what I'm using here is a EOS R. This is a Canon camera. Again, EOS R, the R series camera here. And an amazing camera. It's a mirrorless camera, and I can explain that in another video why it's a mirrorless camera. And it's just an amazing camera. Like some people complain about it. I love this camera. It's just a dope camera. But even more important than the camera itself is the lens. The lens is what captures light. The camera body has all the technology in there and all the software in there, and it does all the processing in there. But the lens is what does the magic here. This lens right here is the Canon. It's a what do they call I'm My brain's not working right now. It's an L lens, it's an L series lens, and it has a red ring on it around it. For those of you who are camera enthusiasts and lens enthusiasts, especially with the Canon line, you know everybody is all about the L series lenses. They're super expensive, but the glass is so amazing. So the level of glass that's in there. This camera is a relatively fast lens. It has a 2.8 f-stop, which means that a number of things. The aperture can open really wide, and not only that, it captures a lot of light. So that means it catches a lot of detail. Most cameras you will get that come with your camera, which we call kit lenses, tend to be like from 3.5, and even 3.5 is not bad, but 3.5 or 4 or larger, that number, And what ends up happening, you need to have way more light, to make it work. But here, like I can show you right now, back to my beautiful face. This is at 55%, at 50%, at 45%, and at 35%. And I'm still coming in crisp. It's just that it's a different feel depending on the lighting. So the lens is very, very important. This is what does the work. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of times the lens itself can end up costing as much as the camera, or sometimes more than the camera itself. I'm not going to talk about prices here because that's not what we're talking about right now. But all of this is in the description if you're interested in finding out more about them. But that's the main workhorse camera. Since we're talking about cameras, I also have two other cameras, and the other two cameras is this one right here, which is a GoPro. It's a GoPro Hero 7 Black. Okay, it's an older GoPro. I think right now we're at the 9 series, but I also even have a 6. They used to be here, and because this used to be my overhead camera when I was doing sneaker reviews, which I've retired from doing sneaker reviews, at least not the way I was doing them before. So I moved that overhead camera to right here, and it's look at this. This is amazing. Would you know this is a GoPro? Look how crisp that is. You would think that this was like, maybe a DSLR. You could look at the vibrant colors in there. Like literally, what I'm seeing on the camera is literally what it looks like in real life. And this is an amazing, amazing camera. Kind of looks like this. Kind of looks like this. Okay, this is what it is. This is the 6 right here. And the 6 also gives us great 4K footage as the 7 as well. The 7 just has a little bit more bells and whistles. So that's the camera number 2, which is my GoPro over the shoulder, so you can see the desk. Then over here, I have this is a Lumix G85. It's made by Panasonic, and this camera right here, is a camera. I know you're wondering, like, why does he have this other camera over here? So this camera here is really not for like a different angle. I actually use this camera when I'm doing content. Hold up, let me do this real quick. When I'm creating content for other things that I do. So I also do financial literacy content. And if I'm doing any kind of thing around that, I want to change it up a little bit. I don't want it to be the same angles, like so you're always seeing the same angles in all my videos. So literally, I just changed my seat over here, and I talk to this camera. And this camera here is not a Canon. Someone would say it's definitely not as good as the Canon, but I'll tell you this. If you didn't know anything and I was doing all my content from here, you'd probably also be like, wow, this is pretty crispy too. A big part of it has to do with the light and the lens. So this Lumix G85 camera, I'm using a I'm trying to remember the brand of this camera. Let me see if I can find the lens cap. Yes, it's a Sigma. Okay, so this is a Sigma. I think it's a 1.8. And this is a 16 millimeter lens. So it's a wide angle lens. And so this is a fixed lens. So I can't zoom it in and zoom it out. It's just perfect for me. And I love this camera. It just catches what I want it to catch. And if I want to make it bigger, wider, or more narrow, I have to literally move it back or forth. There's no zooming in and zooming out. And this is a 16 millimeter lens. It's a wide angle lens, so it catches everything. And then it's a 1.8. I think 1.8, which is actually faster than the Canon lens that I have. And again, look at the colors it's catching, and it's a beautiful camera, you know. So that's my other camera here. It's not meant to be used when I'm using this camera. It's literally used when I'm doing other content. And if you can see from go back to the GoPro setup, when I'm using this camera, I literally have a whole entire setup on this. I have my microphone over here, which is this is also a Rode product, just like my mixer over there. So this is called the Rode Pod Mic. It sounds amazing, and it's one thing I love about this mic. And I know we're not talking about prices. My Shure SM7B over here, it's a $400 mic, 400 I think, yeah, $400 mic. I bought it a while back. This is a $100 mic, okay, and can you really tell the difference? I'm pretty sure if I went back and forth, you'd be like, okay, I can see the difference. But if I just logged on inside my content, you wouldn't know. You know, you just know that this sounds pretty good, very radio-ish, right? Very broadcast-ish. And this is the mic that I use. I just kind of like set it up this way, and I create my content. And I create my content, put it into my mouth, and I just talk. And that's the setup here. I have my mic on a boom arm, and I have this camera over here. And the cool thing about it is when I'm using this, you don't even notice anything else happening over here. You just know that what you're seeing in front of you. But this is the whole entire magic of as far as what's going on. And I also have my iPad here. So if I'm teaching, I can do my notes and everything here. I've been known. My iPad is not connecting right now. Okay, here we go. So I've been known to, when I'm teaching something, especially when I'm doing some of my more teaching based content, I've been known to turn on like my notes screen where I could write on here, and I know people are gonna be like, how is he doing this? But I can literally do this, and you see this, you know, and then I can do this, and here I go. I can do this, and I am literally on the screen talking to you, saying, all right, guys, this is what's going on here. And I can write on the screen, and you can see me, and I can do happy faces, and I can talk to my class. So you can imagine, as a teacher, when I'm teaching a class and I have to actually go through content where I have to write on a whiteboard, that's what I'm doing. They see me talking, I talk to them, I can hear them. And if we're using Zoom or we're using Google Meets, you know, if I'm creating content for my financial literacy channel, not channel, it's all in the same channel, my financial literacy content, you know, and this is what this is part of. That's part of that, where I could literally sit here and talk about for example, this was about the rule of 72 and how to figure out when your money will double in an investment, you know, based on interest rate. So that's the setup here for that. Let me go back over here and close that out, and bam. So I'm going to switch back over to my main camera. All right, so here we go. So can you tell the difference between those two mics? I can tell you. I mean, the other mic tends to be a little bit more bassy, and this tends to have a little bit more good mid ranges. And that one seems to be a little bit more bass, but still, it's an awesome, for $100. It's a great microphone. So what else do I have going on here? So you've seen my other side of my setup. You've seen my let me see here. I think I've talked about everything. The only thing I haven't talked about is this, which is kind of the guest of tonight's episode. Go back to my GoPro. Is this little guy over here? Actually, let me do this. Let me get this mic out of the way. And I'll bring this guy in here, so it's not in the way. So now, this guy right here. So I'll tell you right now, based on my favorites, you know, the Rodecaster Pro. This is audio. Remember, ALV. And yeah, and I forgot to tell you guys, ALV is audio, lighting, video, and S is stability. You know, video stability. So you don't want things shaking around and moving around. So that's it. But in my case, S doesn't really count because everything I do is stationary. So right now here, I'll talk to you about my audio, the sucker right here, my lighting. I showed you guys the lighting in here, which is a big part of the magic. And then video, I share with you my 3 cameras that I use. And then now, how am I doing this? Okay, right here, the ATEM Mini. So this is a video switcher. So those of you who are familiar, who have any background in filmmaking, I went to college and I studied films. I was a film studies major, and we had to take some production class. But I was mainly about like film analysis. I was more into the academic side of film, but we had to take production classes. We had to do projects, you know, as part of the requirement for the degree. And I remember having to do some stuff where I had to switch between cameras, and it was a big old deck. It was so confusing. I was like, what is going on here? And those camera switching decks were like super expensive, like $12,000, $20,000, $40,000. And this little guy right here does the exact same thing. I mean, of course, there's some bells and whistles that's not included in this, but this right here, by itself, I can have this connected, all my cameras, and I can actually stream from here right into YouTube. Okay, I can stream this. I can stream directly from this device without having any special software apart from the software it comes with to stream into my content areas. It's limited, but this does a lot. However, for what I need to do is to be able to just switch cameras. You know, switch cameras, and it gives me 4 cameras. Remember I told you I used to have an overhead camera, which I don't have anymore. I still have it, but I'm not using it. So no, camera number 4 is not connected. However, everything else, it just makes my life so much easier. It's a bunch of buttons on here, which I don't need to use because for what I need, I just need to switch. And I can't talk enough about this device. And it's about $300, a little under $300, if I remember correctly. But it's definitely worth it because it definitely brings everything together, being able to switch cameras around, especially when you're creating content in this space. And the thing I love about this is the fact that for me, when I first started creating content, if you go to my channel, you see a lot of old credit content about credit. I would record the video now and then take my SD card from the camera, plug into my laptop, upload the video, and start editing. And my wife would tell you there are times when I will spend a good hour or 2 editing, then something would go wrong and I have to go back into it again, or whatever the case may be. Frustrating. If any of you guys have ever done editing work and you know what I'm talking about, it's super frustrating. I'll even say it's painful. And one thing I've realized, I discovered in the space that I'm in right now, is that I don't have to do that. If I know what I'm recording and I have all the right equipment, I can actually record a video as though I'm a friend visiting your house. Okay, knock on the door, knock, knock. Hey guys, what's going on? Can I talk to you about something real quick? And I talk to you. And the great thing about it is, yes, it feels more real. It doesn't feel as robotic where you're reading a script or trying to follow something. I can just talk. Like right now, I'm just talking to you guys. And in the midst of it, as I'm talking to you, I can switch cameras and be like, hey, this is what I'm talking about right over here. I want to show you something over here. Without me having to go back and record it and adding it to the editing. Because when you're editing, you're creating these huge files and you have to upload it and you have to get if you're trying to get the 4K or 1080p or 720, these things become factors in your process. What I'm doing here is I'm doing everything at once, and guess what happens? When I'm done, it uploads. Or like in this case, it's streaming live. So if you're watching right now, you're watching this live right now, and I didn't have to do anything other than just go live and record, okay? And those of you who are watching this right now, you're either watching this on YouTube, you're watching this on Facebook, you're watching this on Twitter via Periscope, or on Twitch. And yes, I'm streaming to all 4 places right now at the same time. And that's going to be what I'm going to talk to you before we jump off this video. But this is the great thing about this. And after I'm done, I will probably jump into YouTube and put a thumbnail in there, edit my descriptions, and that's it. I don't have to do any editing. Now, the problem I mentioned earlier in this video that I want to talk to you about. I kind of hit a wall of sorts. When I'm using this camera over here, one of the issues I was having was that I was having latency issues. So I'll be talking and the lip motion and the sound was so off. It was so like, oh my God. And I was trying to figure out what was going on here. Because right now, the way this is all set up is, the way things were set up was the Rodecaster Pro does my audio into my computer. The ATEM Mini takes all the video, it goes through here, and then it pops it into the computer. And what I was realizing is because there's two streams going into the computer. Okay, one is audio, one is video. They're not together. It's just literally two streams of code going into the computer. And because they go into the computer, imagine this. Imagine having two cars starting off on the same, at the same starting line, okay? And you're saying you're both going to get to from point A to point B at the same time. So what's going to happen, okay? Is it possible for them to get there at the exact same time? Meaning both cars get to the point at the exact same time? No. Because when you pull out the microscope or whatever the case is, you're going to notice maybe one might be an inch sooner, one might be, or maybe one might speed, one might, or one might have engine problems, whatever the case is. They might both get there, but they won't necessarily get there at the same time. And this is what's happening with the data going to the computer. And that's why I was getting the latency. So I was like, how do I fix that? How do I correct that, correct that problem? And what I came to understanding was I had to pump my audio from the Rodecaster right into the ATEM Mini. And I was having a problem trying to figure out how to do that. I watched a lot of videos, and what I'm talking about is, like right now, right now, all my audio is literally coming from this right into the computer, and I know it's creating a latency. So what I need to do was, number one, and what I'll do is I'll share with you my screen so you can see. I'm going to live demo mode and turn on live demo. So I guess I have to kind of like do a little backtracking. So the software that's handling the video and everything and the video and audio is Ecamm Live. I love this. I love this software, and my life would be horrible without this software. This is what makes everything work seamlessly, where I don't have to edit. Everything happens in this software. And this is what you're seeing here on the screen. And this is what I see. This is my production center here. So this, and if you can see right here, this audio that's pumping right here, that's the audio coming from the Rodecaster Pro, okay? And the latency was happening because I needed all the audio and everything to be coming in here from one place. And the only thing I can do is, the video is something that is I can't control that. The video has to pump into the computer. But the audio from here, I had to find a way to make this connect into ATEM Mini. But ATEM Mini can take audio as well. But it was happening separately. So what I discovered is, if I can connect from the monitors in the back. I have two plugs in the back, and right now I'm just going to show you what I'm talking about. I have a monitor in the back that allows me to connect these 1/4 inch in here, right and left from the back of the Rodecaster, and then I could plug it into from there, and then a 3.5 millimeter plug into the ATEM Mini. And I looked on the line, I found out that was a solution. I plugged it in, and it wasn't working. Until this day, I don't know why it doesn't work. Okay, this was not working. So then what I had to do next was, now I found another video that says I can use one of my my headphone outputs, because the great thing about the Rodecaster is that all of these each of the 4 mic inputs, and this gives you 4 mic inputs. If I'm doing a show where I have 4 guests and each have their own mics, the great thing about it is they can also have their own headphones, so they can all hear themselves, so we can all monitor and make sure that no one is too loud or anything like that. But what I can do is literally use one of those connectors, using just a 1/4 inch, and then plug that into the Rodecaster, which I did, and that fixed the problem. So And it was great because that was fixed. And then the only other thing I had to do was make sure in my in Ecamm Live, I'd go into the preferences and just make a minor adjustment for my mic delay. So I upped it by 3 frames, and then it's synced, and it's been perfect so far. And right now, I'm pretty sure this should look fine, but I don't know yet, because the only thing I can't monitor is on YouTube if what you're seeing is sync. It's actually synced. I can tell you if I do this, let me show you real quick. This right here, this main bar that's moving right here, that's my audio, my main audio. If I switch that over, because right now everything's connected the way I described it, with the 1/4 inch, right, with 3.5 millimeter right into the ATEM Mini, into the first jack. So if I go here and here we go. So now this allows me to get audio that's 100% in sync. And when I go in here, on screen there's a delay, because there's going to be a delay because my audio is being pumped into your space. But by doing this, it's funny, but I kind of did this backwards. I didn't do it in the beginning because I wanted to get to it to show you how that's fixed, so you can actually see minimal delay. So I don't know how bad it was for you through this whole entire thing. It shouldn't have been that bad, but it should be much better right now. Let me see right now. Biases says, hey, I'm doing great. Thank you, man. And then let me see right here. The comment is, all right, so I'm in frame right now. So tell me right now, how is it? So you said, oh, okay. So I'm assuming that just slightly delayed. So is it slightly delayed right now with with this mic right here, with this setup right now, with not the mic, but with this setup here with the Blackmagic design, with the ATEM Mini. Now I'm gonna switch it back to the Rodecaster. What about now? Is there a delay now? Okay, what about now? Because I just did a switch. Wow, it's some delay. So now that's a good thing. So now I got to figure out why it's doing that now, because I actually did a couple of videos and it was fixed in there. So now I have to go back and go back and look. And the thing too is literally, it might me having to go into my preferences and just do, since you're observing this, let me see if I do this. How is it now? Is it better? Is it syncing better now? Actually worse. Okay. So now, because what I did is I added more frames to it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this back to, let's see, 5. Yeah. So, and that's the thing, because what happens now is before I go, what I usually do is that I will stream to private, and then I would see if it's working, if there's a delay there, because I'm going live right now. I don't always know, but it should be better now. Because I took it because I went from 6 to 8, and I took it from 6 to 5 now. So I'm gonna wait, because I know there's a delay from me to you, so I'll wait to see if it's better from what you're seeing now. But the thing about all of this is that latency So maybe 6 was the best place for me to be in. So that latency is a real issue, and the solution that I found was to make sure that let me take it back to 6 is to make sure I could get the audio going through one device. Then outside of that, also making sure in latency I play with that number with the frames to make sure I find the right frame the right frame. My goal is always to make sure I'm not so off that it's like, where it's like ridiculous, where literally where I'm saying something and the latency is so far off. But technology and being in the space with live streaming and everything else, these things are going to happen. But this is all the things that's happening here. And it's funny because I've noticed I have quite a few videos that this latency there, and no one ever notices. I guess because I'm talking and everything's animated, whatever the case is, so they don't notice it. But I notice it, and it gets to me. So I'm like, oh my God, the world hates me because of all this latency in there. So, but one of the solutions I found is by streaming the audio directly into the ATEM Mini, and it makes a huge difference. But yeah, and then of course the last thing in my whole entire setup here is this right here, Ecamm Live. Like everything that's happening here happens. Everything that happens to the screen happens here. You put if someone makes a comment, I can hit the button. You can see the comment so everybody can see it. Let me get out of the live demo mode. All right. So this is pretty much my whole entire setup. Back here I have 2 hard drives. They're like I think one is a 4 terabyte, the other is 8 terabyte hard drive, so that I'm saving any video content that I create right there. I don't have to move anything around, just save it right into there. And this is the whole entire setup, everything here. And thank you so much. Thank you so much. And the thing about the setup is here is also a work in progress, because I'm always noticing things that I need to tweak and things I need to move around. And I was able to reconnect everything and get rid of. I had a lot of redundant connections, but this is pretty much how I create the content that I create, and it works out really well. Thank you so much. But those of you who are watching who are like, man, like I want to do the same thing, start simple. Because I started off literally with, I remember when I was making content with my phone, right in front of me, like, on a little tripod, and I would literally create videos and edit it there, and then I would upload it, and then from there, I think I had like I actually using, let me show you guys. I had my 70D, this camera right here, which I would literally record my video, then edit it. So all the stuff I used to edit was done on this camera. Then I would edit. The only reason I don't use this camera because for what I do right now, because it doesn't have clean HDMI, meaning that when I record, if I stream videos from here, you see all the lines. How you have all the messages on the screen. You would see all that stuff. But with these 2 cameras that I use right now, and including my GoPro, it's clean HDMI. All you see is just the video, no information or data about the video on there at all. And but yeah, I started simple, and then with time it just got more and more complex. But then the complexity was for the purpose of creating less work for myself. Actually, let me switch microphones. There we go. So the purpose was to create less work for myself. I wanted to be in a scenario where I wasn't having to edit. That was the thing that was hurting me. It was the editing took way too much time. Alicia Way. Oh, I would definitely join Ecamm Live. I've been meaning to join Ecamm Live Facebook group. It's just that my life is a hot mess. I'm a high school principal. I teach classes. I'm a dad. I have 2 kids. I'm a husband. All these things happening. But listen, Ecamm Live is saved my life. It definitely created a space for me where I can just create content without having to worry about the editing, and just being able to go streaming live, you know. And for those of you who are like, how is he streaming live? I use Restream.io. It's Restream.io, which is another, as like I guess, a second or third party software that links to Ecamm Live that lets me stream to all other platforms at the same time. It's a great way to do it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I will definitely join I'm sorry, the Facebook group for Ecamm Live. But yeah, so those of you teachers who are watching right now, administrators, district leaders, school system leaders, I've been saying this over and over again, and even general content creators, like, this is the possible future, you know, and hopefully there's going to be a company that's going to make this all in a smaller ecosystem, so it's not as too many different parts. But this is how I engage my students every day. You know, I engage them just like this, you know, just from here. And a lot of times they ask me, yo, Mister, what are you using? I show them and everything else. And I teach a film class, I teach financial literacy class. But then when I'm meeting with my staff and I'm having town halls and having assemblies, all from here. This has been, you know, it's funny, I can say this. This is what the pandemic birthed. You know, because of the pandemic and having to create content for my school, this is what happened here. But also it benefited what I do in creating my content for my YouTube channel and for my podcast as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Am I missing anything here? I mean, there's some complexities also as far as my mic setup. I have a cloud lifter for this. I also have a FET head, which are they're how do I put it? They're preamps for your mics, for the preamps, you know. Hold on a second. I always mess this up as far as what to call these, but they're boosters, because a lot of times these mics are they require a little bit more power, so specifically phantom power. So these right here, which are I know I'm gonna kick myself in the head, and be like, yeah, I forgot what these are called. The name's not on here, but this is a FET head, and I plug this in to my mic, so it just gets a little bit more boost, phantom power, and helps with just so you can hear me better. And I have another one, which is the cloud lifter that goes with this mic over here. And but yeah, it's quite a few peripherals here and there that I had put together just to make this work best. And I'll tell you this, the most important thing for me is that you can see me, you can hear me, and you're not distracted by any additional noise or like poor quality. But at the same time, you know, beyond you guys, my students are very important to me. When I have my 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th graders who are sitting at home all day taking classes online, I love the fact that a lot of them tell me like, yo, I love your class, because I stay trying to figure out what's in the background. You know, I'm the sneaker principal, so I have my sneakers back there. You know, I have my little pop dolls over here, and I create a space, and this space was created intentionally to engage my students, to make sure that they're paying attention. You know, and this is a familiar place for them when they log into class every day. And these are the things that I believe that every teacher should be doing, especially in this space. And the other thing too, once the pandemic is over, this is not going anywhere, because I've seen students right now, kids right now, who are actually doing better in a remote setting because of things like their anxiety when they come into the school building or when they leave their homes, or bullying and things like that. Kids who are able to do work now and feel good about themselves, because they might not, being in the building might not be the best the best setting for them. And it's something that we have to figure out how to support them when we go back into the building. And but yeah, I just switched topics I went left, and that was not my intention. And this video was supposed to be super short, but you know, there's a lot of things here that I need to cover. So again, I'm going to stop here. Thank you so much again for being here this evening. I really appreciate y'all. And I feel like I'm messing up your name, Alicio Way. I will definitely join the Ecamm Life Facebook group. And that's pretty much it. Guys, do me a favor, if this is your first time here, do me that huge favor by subscribing, liking the content, and all the above. And I just had the wrong screen on. I'm gonna do it again. Here we go. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, share. My goal is to really grow this channel and get people engaged around what I'm doing here, especially financial literacy. And that's the main focus of my channel, is really getting people engaged in financial literacy, getting into schools, making sure that we're teaching kids, financial literacy, also content creation as well, because these are 21st century skills, and I believe it. And hey, I'm a principal, and I'm engaged in this space as well because I know how important it is. So, Biases, thank you so much. I really appreciate your presence here, and listen, I'll be honored to be on the panel. I'll be definitely honored to do that because this is important. Like, we can't. And I'm gonna say this one last thing. We cannot have our children consuming all the content they consume, and very few of them create any content. Because we don't teach them how to. They walk around with these in their pockets, computers in their pockets. Cameras, computers, 4K videos, and everything else, and they don't know how to create. They just consume. And even what they consume most of the time, yes, it's entertaining, but it's brain numbing. We have to teach them how to use this. We have to teach teachers how to use this and create content. And that so we're building something beyond just, laughing and having fun. People are creating multi-million-dollar businesses from doing this, and I'm sorry. Going to college to becoming a doctor, going to college to becoming a lawyer is just as viable as understanding and learning this space to create content and create an empire for yourself through social media. I know people in social media who are making more money than people who are doctors, and it's crazy. So okay, I'm done talking. It's late. I got to go to bed. Thank you so much, guys. It's a pleasure. Be well, be safe, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, peace.